There we are. Thank you, Sadia.
Okay, so I'll just repeat the first bit. So yes, I discovered I had dyslexia quite later on in life when I returned to higher education for the second time, and then I found out I had ADHD a couple of years later after that. I do consider that I have successfully overcome many challenges, especially when I returned to education for the second time. I was studying law and I had these exams to take, which I just didn't pass first time around, but I got there in the end. So I do consider myself highly motivated and resilient. As a person, I'm quite shy and introverted, and I'm not really good at, or I've always stayed away from like public speaking. And my hobbies and interests include reading all kinds of books, novels, non-fiction. I love photography, astronomy. I'm absolutely obsessed with the night sky. And I like helping out the disadvantaged. So I do a lot of voluntary work, including like helping a migrant center, helping refugees and asylum seekers. And my current paid work is with helping domestic abuse or domestic violence victims. And I'm a massive fan of Audrey Hepburn. I've nearly seen all her films, but I was actually a fan before I even started watching her films.
Sorry, the slides aren't moving on though, sorry.
Oh, are you still on the... Oh, let me stop and start. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay, 1 second. So, are you still on the title page?
Yes, that's right, Sadia.
Oh, okay, because I've actually moved on. So I'm going to stop share. Yeah, and see if I can start share again. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so can everyone see that?
Yeah, that's
okay.
better.
When I turned my video off, maybe that interfered with the flow. Okay. So yes, I was literally reading out this list here before, and yeah, so about this talk, so I'm going to be introducing mindfulness and self-care techniques from a neurodivergent perspective. So by that I mean, you know, so when I talk about mindfulness from a neurodivergent perspective, I mean applying those techniques in order to reduce the additional challenges around my dyslexia and ADHD. So, you know, it's about taking a holistic approach to helping with those challenges that disabling environments bring for people with dyslexia. And it's about bringing out the best of us. So I will be touching on lots of topics, including the importance of sleep, meditation, mental health, and much more. And just a little disclaimer, I mean, this is just really a whistle-stop tour of everything. I am going to go into a bit more detail when it comes to mindfulness, but the rest is going to be just a quick just introduction on the various topics, with the hope that, you know, it will set something off and you might just want to go and you know, look into one of those topics yourself. And it's just based on knowledge I've gained through reading books and applying those techniques myself. So I'm going to start with a bit of philosophy and this quote from a Greek philosopher called Socrates. And it says, "To know is to know that you know nothing. That is the meaning of true knowledge." Now, this might sound a bit like a negative quote, but it's not. It's not implying that, you know nothing. It's simply saying it's to start. You should start with an open mind when you approach something. So, and there's a benefit to approaching things as though you know nothing at all. And I've listed them here. So start with knowing nothing. So in other words, start with an open mind. even if you believe in your idea, thought, leave room for your view, perspective to be challenged. You may well be wrong about something. Starting with an open mind makes you more likely to listen to others, and I think it just makes you an overall nicer and humble person. But this is a piece of philosophy. It's up to you if you want to take it on, but I just think it's a nice place to start from. So yeah, I'm going to go on to mindfulness now. So this is a bit of a buzzword that's been thrown around a lot over the last, I'll say 5 years, maybe a bit more. So it's about essentially about being present in the moment, and that involves like bringing gentle curiosity to the present moment, you know, taking mental note of what is arising around you and just letting it be. So on the slide it says about awareness of where you are and what you are doing in the present moment, and not being caught up in the past or worried about the future. So I'll go on to explaining how that works in action and the benefits of mindfulness. So the benefits are it reduces stress, helps the immune system, it increases clarity, brings better focus, it boosts the working memory, it reduces the running thoughts. You know, the thoughts that are often caught up, like the past thoughts or the thoughts about the future, and lowers anxiety and depression and contributes towards higher brain functioning. So yeah, it helps us reduce stress. Some say it can help manage panic attacks even. But personally for me, it helps me remain calm in challenging situations, and it helps me respond in a more balanced way. And yeah, so this is how I would link mindfulness and dyslexia. So better brain functioning, working memory brings clarity, lowering stress, anxiety, and depression are also helpful in improving performance or overall well-being. And here's a quote, mindfulness is paying attention on purpose in the present and non-judgmentally to the unfolding of experience moment by moment. So mindfulness in action. So the first one kind of encapsulates it all, being present. That's what it's about. And then there's also something called mindful pausing, and I'll go on to explain that. That's also a type of mindfulness. And then there's, I'm so sorry, that's meant to say meditation, not mediation. So I'll go on to explain meditation as well, which is not quite mindfulness. It's a bit different, but some people tend to link it into mindfulness. So being present, so the way it works in action, so if you're in the middle of an activity or an event, good or bad, you bring your whole self into that present moment, you fully engage, and people have different techniques in doing that. They, you know, some people will connect with their feet to the, you know, they'll consciously be aware of, you know, what they're standing on. I think that's called grounding, and just bring this curiosity to where they are at that present moment, and being aware of your actions and words, being non-judgmental and showing compassion, and avoid, you know, you by doing that, you avoid being reactive or getting into auto mode. Auto mode is how we tend to behave without thinking. And then we also start thinking before we start speaking. So this is what I was saying, it helps us calm down and respond in a more balanced way. It kind of takes our thoughts away from the future and from being caught up in the past, and brings you to the moment and helps you think more clearly. Mindful pausing is like, it's like a mini version of mindfulness in a way. It's you could be in the middle of doing something, even like brushing your teeth or cooking, and you just suddenly stop. You bring yourself to a pause and you just breathe in and out. And again, you just feel where you are, what you are holding. So connect with your senses. and bring your mind to exactly that moment. And this only needs to last 10 to 15 minutes. I sometimes do this at work when I've had a pretty intense day, which is most days, and I just and there's lots of running thoughts. I just do a quick pause, and it's particularly when I don't have time for meditation, because I do sometimes do 10 minutes of meditation, but if I don't have time, I try to bring myself into a pausing moment. And like unlike mindfulness, it's like the longer version I described, that's more about if you're facing certain situations, but this is just can be done in any kind of situation. Just pause, bring yourself to where you are. So now I'm going to have feedback from my buddies. So I gave Robert and Jennifer an insight into this talk and gave them some tasks to do during the week, including mindfulness, pausing. So Robert and Jennifer, what were your thoughts? Did you get to try out any of the techniques? Who wants to go first?
I don't mind really. I don't mind who goes first really.
Jennifer?
I'll say quickly and then over to you, Robert. So I was going to say we had a 2-day work conference this week. So it was loads of travel, loads of people around. And so it was really nice to just take a few minutes and kind of realize how hectic everything is and how caught up I was in everything. So it was a good time to do it. But I'd also say I meant to do it every day and I ended up only doing it 2 days in the week. So I think it's really important to sort of not, not beat ourselves up if we don't do it every single day. But it can be a nice feeling when we do it. Robert, how did you find it?
I did meditation. I tried that. I watched the YouTube video, tried meditation. I did some walks in nature. What else? I tried engaging with someone from a different walk of life.
Robert, so I'm going to get you to give feedback later on. I haven't introduced those bits to everyone yet. So
okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So just about the mindfulness.
Okay,
you didn't. It's not really.
I did find it quite helpful to sort of like just sort of to use do those techniques, because sort of really sort of not think about the future, thinking about the future, thinking about the past or the future. I did find them quite helpful, because I do try to put myself more in. I do try to sort of do that. Put myself more in the present moment and think about what's happened in the past or the future. I try to put myself. I sort of try to have that sort of frame of mind, really.
Okay, thank you, Robert. I mean, it's something that you can keep on practicing, and especially with the pausing, I think that's a bit more doable for most people. But yeah, it would be great to have your feedback again. But I'm glad you both tried it out. Thank you, guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue. So yeah, can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're on
working
meditation
right. It's
now.
working fine.
Yeah, meditation, not mediation. Okay, so meditation is a practice that involves bringing the mind to rest and focusing on one thing. So here's some facts and some myths. So it's about focusing. It's not spiritual or religious, although some people might use it as a spiritual or religious activity. They might use mantras, but it is actually just a scientifically proven secular activity. It's an exercise for the brain. And here's a quote from Bill Gates, and that picture is not meant to be Bill Gates, by the way. So it says, I now meditate 2 or 3 times a week. Mindfulness is simply exercise for the mind, similar to the way we exercise our muscles when we play sports. So that's what I mean. It's scientifically proven to help the mind. It's something that you need to actively do. So it's not the same as letting your mind wander. It's you need to put it into action and help make it focus on one thing, and that is meditation. And here are the benefits. That reduces stress, controls anxiety, promotes emotional health, enhances self-awareness, lengthens attention span, may reduce age-related memory loss, can generate kindness. Well, I suppose it can help calm you down in that sense. May help fight addictions, improve sleep, helps control pain, can decrease blood pressure, and it's accessible anywhere, as in you can do it anywhere. And this is, I've written the source of this at the bottom there. And I find it helps me a lot because it's especially similar to mindfulness, where it gives me a chance to just pause, but it's not the same as mindfulness. And I'm going to explain that in a bit. And after I do meditation for 10 minutes, because I use an app, I find that my mind is a lot more calmer. It helps me declutter all those thoughts, all the pressure, and it suddenly makes me feel more alert. So yeah, all benefits could improve overall well-being and could help with the challenges that surround dyslexia. It just helps me bring clarity in my mind. And then if I'm in a situation at work, and then, then I have my challenges because of the disabling environment around me, it just helps me. And it's something I strongly recommend. Here's some pictures I found online. So this is the brain before and after meditation, just 10 minutes of meditation. So you can see how it kind of unclogs those kind of the pathways. I don't know the scientific terminology, but it just helps clear the mind. Okay, so meditation and mindfulness are not quite the same thing. Mindfulness is all about awareness of where you are, what you are doing, connecting with your surroundings or with your senses, and bringing you into the moment. Meditation also brings you into the moment, but it's more about bringing focus. So when you do meditation, it's you use something like, you can use breathing. Breathing is often used as an anchor to focus on. So often it involves closing the eyes and sitting still. And I like to use guided meditation. So there's someone talking and guiding, and then also there's a period of silence. And what tends to happen, and this is very, very normal, you will get running thoughts. You will think about what you forgot to buy when you were out shopping. This is all very normal, but you don't get worked up about it. You bring yourself back to your breath. If you're using breathing as your anchor, you bring yourself back, and then you're going to get distracted again, and then you just bring yourself back to your breathing again, and it's constant. And in that process, if you are getting distracted but you're constantly bringing your back, you are actually calming your mind. And you can, I physically feel it when I come out of meditation. I can feel the calmness in my mind. And it's like I said before, it's not about letting your mind wander or daydream. That's something else completely. It's about bringing focus, and it can help you perform better as well afterwards if you're doing some activity or whatever you're engaged in. Okay, so Robert and Jennifer, did you manage to do any meditation at all?
I've done it in the past. I didn't do it this week, but I find it easier when a person guides me through it. So I need to get used to the kind of the app thing, or just doing it on my own. But Sadia, do you always use an app when you do it now?
Yeah, I've subscribed to Calm. I subscribed to that a few years ago, and I absolutely love it. There's lots of other features on there as well, other than meditation. You get these breathing exercises that you can do for like 3 minutes, and but there's lots available online. But Headspace is another good one, which I know a lot of people mention. I've used that one in the past. They sometimes give free 5 sessions or 10 sessions. Yeah, so I've just seen something in the chat about doing some of these activities. I am hoping that we'll do meditation towards the end, just before we start chatting. I'm going to try and squeeze in 5 minutes of meditation. Yeah, so we are going to try that, hopefully. I'll carry on. Okay, so self-care. It's quite a broad term, and yeah, I'm not referring to anything like, you know, taking a shower or drinking tea or getting your vitamin D, although that's all very important as well. So I'm talking more about, you know, taking care of your mind, your body, and the environment around you, in, you know, and how that could help with some of the challenges that disabling environments can bring, you know, because of your dyslexia or ADHD. I'm going to focus on, like I said, the mind, our habits, and our immediate environment. So I'm going to start off with combating negative thoughts. So I'm going to touch on knowing your value, addressing lack of confidence and imposter syndrome, the importance of affirmations, and much more. So the first step to combating negative thoughts is understanding your, you know, appreciating your neurodivergent mind. We're still living in a world that places people with dyslexia at a disadvantage. You know, we're often having to navigate through environments that aren't really designed for us, and you know, they're disabling rather than enabling, and this often presents as a challenge. And because of this challenge, it diverts our attention to what we find challenging, and then we start to think of our so-called weaknesses, but they're not weaknesses. And then we don't think of our strengths because of all these constant challenges that we face. And I find this at work, where I'm still fighting a bit of a battle with making my unique traits, characteristics understood. So I just want to remind you all that, you know, the neurodivergent mind, it's a blessing. You all have unique strengths. And to think of the social model of disability as opposed to the medical model of disability. For those who don't know what that is, it's so the medical model of disability kind of places us as the problem, as, you know, we can't do X, Y, and Z, whereas the social model of disability is the opposite of that, and it suggests that the environment around us is disabling, it's not us. So just think of that, and think of your strengths. So you know, neurodivergent people have all these amazing strengths. We're creative thinkers, we have big picture thinking, we're intuitive, good at problem solving, and much more. But we're all different from one another as well. But just think of your unique strengths. Okay, and shift the focus. So we tend to scrutinize ourselves over the mistakes we make, but we should remind ourselves that neurotypical people also make mistakes. We just tend to scrutinize ourselves a little bit more, because it's very natural to just do that. I think we have a tendency to think a bit negatively, or humans do, not we. And change the inner dialogue and narrative. So change it to what you can do and not what you can't. Okay. And think about this. There are many tasks that neurotypical people aren't very good at, and that we are good at, you know, and the world needs both of us. So the next thing I'm going to go on to is affirmations. Oh, sorry, this is another slide here. So we are the artists, creatives, inventors, scientists, empaths, and more. So we have contributed a lot to the world, and we still are. Okay, so affirmations. Another sort of fancy buzzword that's been used quite a lot over the past decade, and it's often misunderstood because I think people don't really take it seriously, or they don't really understand how it works. But it's basically positive phrases or statements used to challenge negative or unhelpful thoughts. So it's about positive talk to the self, saying positive phrases and statements to yourself. And these, again, this is scientifically proven. Our brain has a tendency to think negatively. We are designed like that from our hunter-gatherer days. So affirmations, they activate the reward center in our brain. So when we make these positive statements to ourselves, it kind of just brings out the rewards. It activates that reward center in our brain and helps us maintain balance by counteracting those negative thoughts. And yeah, I'm sure many of you have heard of affirmations. And here's a quote that I like. I just love Winnie the Pooh. I mean, this isn't an affirmation because it's not, Winnie the Pooh saying it to himself. He's saying it to Piglet. That's, promise me you'll always remember you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. So that's something we could say to ourselves, or we could say anything that we want to say to ourselves. Okay, so, actually, I'm going to just ask for feedback from my buddies. Did any of you try affirmation, Robert and Jennifer? If you didn't, it's fine.
I've tried it in the past. I've tried it in the past. I wrote some affirmations on some yellow bits of paper, and I was saying it for about a couple of weeks. I did it before in the past, yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, thank you, Robert. Right, so this is something I wanted to share about your peer circle. So I'm not sure if you've heard of Jay Shetty. He's an amazing kind of speaker. He's written books about positive thinking. And I was listening to one of his podcasts recently. It was actually on the Calm app. And he said something which I really liked. He said, connect with people who are from a different walk of life from you. So avoid limiting yourself to people who are exactly like you. And he described that as a hall of mirrors where you just speak and interact with people who are exactly like you. He suggested, avoiding that and just opening up your connections. And then to think about how can those connections help you evolve. So just to expand on that, he was explaining that, human beings, most people have a tendency to just interact or speak to people that are very similar to them. But by speaking to people that are different from us, different walks of life, who might look different, completely different to us, and who we just normally wouldn't speak to, just opens us up as human beings. It opens up our perspective, and we can all learn from each other, and and it helps us evolve. So Robert and Jennifer, did any of you try this? Robert, I think you mentioned something a bit earlier about this.
I did try to do it with about two, at least nearly, I think about 3 people, about at least 2 people anyway.
That's good. 2 people is good. And how did you find it?
I found it quite interesting and quite eye-opening, because I'm thinking, why don't I do it a bit more often, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Robert. Okay. So next thing is about peer support. So I think this is, again, very, very important. So in times of difficulty, reach out to people who are similar to you. So it's important to have contact with other neurodivergent people and to know that you're not alone. So that includes, like for me, like ever since I've joined the WFDA and, you know, I've come to the next step sessions, it's just helped my confidence and just my, just all around mental well-being, knowing that other people have similar challenges to me and hearing other people's stories and, you know, and also when I've had an issue at work or wherever to do with my neurodivergent profile, I've reached out to other neurodivergent people and I felt understood, and it just helps, you know, it helps with the mental health. And so this is just a little reminder that, you know, do connect with people because talking helps. And jumping onto a different topic, avoid comparison. Just remember that, you know, we've all had different life experiences, different life trajectories, come from different backgrounds, we've had different opportunities and different challenges. And, you know, sometimes it can be disheartening, I know, and I've been in such situations, but then I have to remind myself and do, you know, have that inner dialogue and think, you know, and think logically in a way, you know, well, you know, I've had you know, different life experiences and, you know, but we're all unique. We're all absolutely unique. We all have our different strengths and our different beauty. So yeah, this is like the last thing to do with combating negative thoughts. And oh, actually, sorry, this next one relates to what I was saying. Just also remember that there's different types of intelligence. I'm not going to read all these out, but with the point that I want to make is that, you know, I think society tends to focus on academic intelligence a lot, whereas, you know, there's different, I think, I don't know how many there are, there's 8 there, but there might be more than 8, but there's different types of intelligences. So just, this is something for you to look into. And yeah, so moving on, hobbies and interests. So pursue hobbies and interests other than work. And by doing that, you know, it helps improve mental health, brings happiness and confidence, gives us a chance to shine and to develop a skill we don't need to be tested on. And yeah, and there's Albert Einstein. I once read that he took breaks from his work to engage in hobbies, and it actually helped his work. It made him more productive because he was taking that time out for himself to do something that he enjoyed and then coming back to do his work. So always try to engage, you know, find something that you're really, really good at. During the pandemic, I signed up to these philosophy classes, and it's just been amazing. You know, my contribution is valued a lot whenever I do engage, and it's I just find my best side comes out when I'm in those sessions, and it's just nice. There's no homework to do. It's just like weekly sessions, yeah. So yeah, just find something that you want to do on the side, and you know that isn't too demanding. Help. Okay. So yeah, I'm a big fan of making lists, and I do this at work every single morning, and everyone has their own style of doing it. Some people prefer to do it digitally. I just find, you know, it declutters the mind, and it reduces that kind of pressure on the mind and on the memory. And I always have lists. I have lists at home of things that I need to do. And you're not juggling too much in your mind. It's a very simple, and it's, you know, I know a lot of people already know about this, but I just wanted to highlight this. I just think it's really, really effective. And here are some benefits of to-do lists. So it increases productivity, provides motivation, improves memory, reduces stress, allows for more personal time, reduces anxiety and improves mental health, provides a sense of accomplishment, And yeah, if you need to set deadlines for each goal, I don't really do that, but you can do that. And just do it in a way that works for you. Some people do it in the morning, some people just write a list down before they go to sleep. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to be talking about your environment. And this is about maintaining a healthy physical environment at home and, if possible, at work, and about staying organized and having a clutter-free environment and embracing a level of minimalism. I've kind of underlined, minimalism, like a level of minimalism, because I find that, everyone has their own perspective. Some people might not like minimalism, or what might seem like a cluttered environment to one person may not be for another person. So it's quite subjective, and it's very personal. But personally, I'm trying to move more towards clutter-free because I see lots of benefits in that. So in the workspace environment, it reduces distractions. It reduces like too much stimulation for the mind. It creates white space or empty space, reduces visual stress. And yeah, so I would advise just learning about minimalism. For me, with ADHD of the inattentive type, it really, really is, it helps me a lot because I can't deal with too much visual stress around me. Similar principles apply in the home environment. So the benefits of decluttering, organizing, or minimalism, fewer belongings reduces stress, as does organization, saves time, makes you more efficient, helps you focus on the things that matter, easier to clean, and helps the circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is to do with our sleep pattern, which I'm going to explain a bit later. And here is another sort of the benefits of effects of decluttering and its relation to mental health. So too much clutter can lead to a cortisol increase, so a stress hormone, and it lowers well-being. It could impact working memory, and some say that if you have too much clutter around you, we tend to live in a slight flight or sorry, that was meant to say fright, sorry, response. It's quite taxing to the body, and like I said before, it produces more stress hormones than necessary. It affects cognitive functioning, decreases focus, and it impacts physical health. And I've written the source of this particular information on the slide. Okay, so here are some lifestyle gurus that I follow. Becoming Minimalist. I've been following them for years now. No Sidebar, which is to do with minimalism. Marie Kondo, I don't really follow, but I hear a lot about her techniques. And then there's this one I've highlighted in bold, But First Coffee. So this is so this previous slide was actually the advice given on by this particular vlogger called Callie Bransforth. I really like her because she's American, and in America they have really big houses, but her house is quite small, and I just feel she's just so relatable in many ways, and she gives really, really good advice about lifestyle hacks, including decluttering. And then she's the one that, like I said before, she gave this advice about decluttering and mental health. And then there's also Mia Daniel on YouTube. She's very good as well. Okay, so similar principles apply to digital minimalism. So only keeping important apps. It's all about reducing visual clutter, having less for your eyes to process. Okay. And then connect with nature. That's also very, very good for the mental health. And I've listed the benefits of walking in nature. So more oxygen in the fresh air, boost immune system. And I've read up studies where they've said it lessens ADHD symptoms by encouraging directed attention. So it's kind of linked into mindfulness in a way, helps mind to focus, helps calm the mind, increases feelings of well-being and lowers depression. And now I'm going to move on to sleep. Actually, before I do that, do any of my buddies have any feedback? Did you try anything? Robert, did you say you went for a walk in nature? Or did I just
went to, there's a park up there for me, so I tried to go to it as often as I can when I got time to go for a walk around it, really.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to move on to sleep now. Now, this is quite a big topic, and I actually thought I wasn't going to have that much time for it, but I'm glad there's a bit of time left for this. So I read these two books a few years ago, and so I've kind of taken bits of information from each one and made these slides. So why is sleep so important? So your body requires sleep to recover and recharge. Your brain cleanses when you sleep. It's important. Important connections built during the day are strengthened and unimportant ones are weakened. So there's a bit of a filtering system that goes on when you get your complete sleep. It helps embed in the mind what you have studied during the day. So we often hear of students having all-nighters and, they're studying till the last minute up until their exam. It doesn't really help that much because you need to give your mind rest. You need to get your sleep to get that information embedded in your mind, according to these books. Without sleep, brain cannot function properly. We all know that. We all know what it feels like to not have had sufficient sleep. It staves off diseases and it helps the immune system. You'll often find everything helps the immune system, mindfulness, meditation. So it's all connected. So circadian rhythm, so this was mentioned earlier. It's the 24-hour internal clock in our brain that regulates cycles of alertness and sleepiness by responding to light changes in our environment. So in fewer words, that's our internal clock. It regulates our sleep and wake cycle according to the light around us. So this is what a typical circadian rhythm cycle looks like. And you can have a look at this later when I share the slides. I'll go on to explain what melatonin is. Melatonin is a natural hormone in your body that tells your body when it is ready to sleep. Okay, so it's usually when nighttime kicks in, we start to feel sleepy. That's melatonin, it's kicking in. So here in the quote, it says, melatonin is a hormone that's naturally made by the pineal gland. It helps you fall asleep by calming the body before bed. Now, on the left here, I've got a picture of a desert island. Now, I'm going to go back to the circadian rhythm and how our circadian rhythm should be in line with our natural environment. And one of the books gives the example of a desert island. So imagine you're in a desert island and there's no artificial lights. You wake up with the sun. As the sun rises, you would wake up because, the natural light around you would appear. And then as the sun starts to set, we would start to wind down. And then as it darkens, we would sleep. Now, that's our natural rhythm. And that's how our circadian rhythm should also work. But what happens is, because of artificial lights, because of our, this technology, watching TV in the evening, we make this blue light interferes with our melatonin and it throws us out of sync. So here is a list of what interferes with our circadian rhythm: not getting enough light, sun exposure during the day, doing night shifts, poor sleep patterns, jet lag, different time zones, exposure to blue light or technology in the evening and night, too much exposure to artificial lights in the evening and night, and obviously too much caffeine. So these are things that we should be aware of. There are 4 stages to our sleep. I'm not going to go into the science of all this or explain it, not that I can, but stage 4 is very, very important. And I kind of know, and I'm more aware of my sleep now since I've read these books. But stage 4 is when you get the morning dream, and you can tell the difference in your if you wake up before that dream and if you wake up after that dream, because there's a lot of brain activity that goes on when we have our morning dream. And apparently one of those brain activities includes all that information that we've learned, the filtering and the embedding of, like, I don't know, if you were studying, for instance, it all happens at that stage. And so getting to that last stage of sleep is really, really important. And just if you're kind of aware that you're having this morning dream, let it get to the end, in the hope that you're not going to be late for work or anything like that. So this is the 4 stages of sleep cycle. And okay, this is really, really interesting, because one of the books mentioned that some of us are naturally morning people, and whilst the rest of us are genetic. That was really eye-opening for me, because I've never considered myself a morning person, and there's lots and lots of books written on being a morning person. You get lots of bloggers talking about the benefits of rising early, getting all your work done in the morning. And then there's me who I struggle to get out of bed, and it used to make me feel really bad. And now, if this theory is true, about some of us being genetically morning people or the other way around, and it makes sense. I mean, I find myself to be more alert in the afternoon or evening, whereas I know people that are just naturally morning risers. So Robert and Jennifer, did you manage to figure out what you are, AM or?
I'm an AM.
Yeah.
I'm definitely an AM person.
Yeah, and I'm definitely a PM person, no question.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So yeah, one of the advices that the book gave was, if you want to drink coffee, obviously don't drink it in the evening, but we do need coffee sometimes, strategically. So I need coffee in the morning, because I'm naturally a PM person. But then I'll try not to drink it late in the evening. How to improve sleep. So go outside, set your body clock with the daylight. So try and get out, get that sunlight. It helps with the whole circadian rhythm. And then cut down on blue light in the evening, introduce orangey red lights. You can buy these glasses off Amazon. They've got these tinted orangey red lenses, and they really help. You just put them on, they start to make you feel sleepy. Reduce stimulation in the bedroom. Again, less clutter. Switch off the TV. Drink caffeine strategically. So this is what I mentioned earlier. Like, if you are a PM person and you find mornings hard, have your coffee in the morning. Minimize distractions at night. So try to go to sleep with fewer kind of anxieties. Like, make sure your doors are locked, and try not to drink too much water before you go to sleep. And try to keep the same wake up time. We need to, this is really helpful for the body. If you try, no matter what time you go to sleep, try to keep, I know that kind of contradicts what I've said earlier about getting your full sleep, but there's something really helpful to keeping the same wake up time. So if you can, ideally have the same sleep time as well. Just to finish off now, preserve your energy. So this is my last slide, and this is about something I've had to learn to do. Be selective about the activities you want to engage in, and tackle the fear of missing out. Invest your energy in what matters most. Your body needs the rest, and your mind needs the rest. So I'll give you an example of myself. You know, I'm really, really passionate about social justice, you know, and various causes, and I'm on social media, and my mind runs off on different tangents. I have ADHD and I get distracted, so I end up reading about everything, anything that comes on my screen about any issue, and it's a distraction. You know, I need to start to learn to pick and choose what I want to invest my mind in, because we do need to rest. And also, like this weekend gone, I went to a festival which was actually running from Friday to Sunday, and there were speakers, really good speakers on all of those days, on really good topics that I was interested in. But I picked one day. I said I can't go all 3 days. You know, as you get older as well, you need to just have those days where you just lie in and preserve your energy. And but it's not just about going out, it's about anything and everything. Just choose what you invest your mind in. You don't have to be involved with everything. Yeah, that's basically it from me. I do appreciate, I've covered lots of different topics. I mean, all this was just straight from my heart. You know, these are all the different things I thought of when I thought of mindfulness and self-care. They're topics that I've looked into and I've tried to apply to myself, and I hope you all benefited. So before we go on to just chatting, actually, no, I've just remembered we need to do meditation together. Sorry. So let me see if I can share a video. Just bear with me. How do I do this more? So if I'll stop this share. Share screen. Okay. Okay, so let's see if this would work. Okay, what time is it? It's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock nearly. Can everyone see that?
Yeah, we're good here.
Okay. So what we need to do is we need to just close our eyes and just follow the meditation. And remember, it's all about focusing. And we are going to have those random thoughts that come in. Don't get worked up about them. Just push them aside, stay calm, and bring yourself back to the breathing exercise. So let's do this together.
This mindfulness meditation, just let yourself get into a comfortable position, whatever that looks like for you. When your body feels ready, you may gently close your eyes. With your eyes closed, take a moment to tune inwards. First, simply noticing your body. Tuning into the weight of gravity, the points of contact between you and the surface on which you are resting. What else do you notice? What is it like for you to be in your body right now? As you observe this, you simply accept and allow whatever it is you notice, harboring no judgment, just being mindful. noticing what is with a sense of compassion in your heart and letting it be. Continue to do this now with your breath as well as your body. If you haven't already, begin to tune into the sensations of breathing. What do you notice? Just observe, accept, and allow. No judgment. Just letting everything be how it is. As you stay mindful of your breath and your body, with a sense of compassion in your heart. Keeping your eyes closed, you allow your awareness to expand to include the space around your body. It's as if you can sense the air around you, the objects around you, and you just allow them to be as you simply are. There's nothing to do, there's nothing to judge. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Don't judge it. Just return your focus to what is. Being connected to your breath, your body, and your sense of presence in the world around you. You let everything simply be, including yourself. You now begin to let your attention travel back, becoming more and more aware of physical sensations by rolling your shoulders, wiggling your fingers and toes, still being mindful of what is, and taking this present moment awareness with you as you slowly begin to open your eyes back to the world around you. Wonderful job doing this practice. We hope you enjoy the rest of your beautiful day.
Wow, that went really quickly, actually. So before I actually, I'm going to stop the share. Before I go to the chat, I actually forgot to include something which just came to my mind now, which was in my last presentation, and that's a slightly different concept of quieting, like bringing your mind to a quietness. So it's not quite meditation, but it's about not being distracted. So an example that was given in a book was, for example, if you're in a lift with people, you know, some people tend to take out their phones and they start browsing randomly, and you know, trying not to do things like that, and having moments of where you just sit back and bring your mind to rest and let your mind wander. So this is slightly different from meditation, where meditation isn't about letting your mind wander. But when you do let your mind wander in this different concept I'm describing, it helps your mind make connections. Because when we're normally just constantly distracted, going from one activity to the other, we're not really allowing our mind to make beneficial connections. You know, it's when our mind is quiet, that's when the best ideas come to us. And there is a quote that I wish I had put on the slide related to this, but it was saying something about these entrepreneurs or business people, that the best ideas have come to them when they've been at the most quietest and least distracted. So just something, an additional concept to bear in mind. But I'm going to bring us back to this meditation. So how did everyone find it? So we're going to open up now to everyone.
Oh, I think you've got a hand up from Andrew.
Hi, yes, I just wanted to say it was very good, and I was particularly keen to do some meditation at the end. Annoyingly, one of my neighbours started making some noise, so my dog kind of kicked off a bit, but it's something that I used to do, and an ex when I was 17, so a long time ago now, we used to go to meditation together every month, and it's something that really helps, I think, with my dyspraxia, and kind of going, you know, doing the prayers and things like that as well. And I say it was very well done.
Thank you, Andrew. Andrew, you probably know that you were the one that discovered my gift.
Yeah, yeah, a few years ago now. God,
Yeah.
yes.
Andrew used to work at my university, and he was the first person I went to and said, I think I have dyslexia.
Yeah, Tim has retired now, hey? Tim Francis, who did your assessment. He retired. Yes. Yeah, he keeps in contact with me, send me regularly, but yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I think we've got
Sorry, sidetracked.
Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, darling. There we are.
Hi.
Don't worry.
I think it was a bit like that meditation for me. It was more like mindfulness. It's just trying to be in the present and just breathing and just learning to relax and just focus on what's happening in the present and try not to get distracted. So that's what my personal experience was. Yeah.
Thank you. You know, everyone's experience is different, you know, to one another, and you know, as long as it's benefiting you, if it's bringing you to a calmness, and then that's an achievement.
I think one of the reasons why I joined was because I personally experienced anxiety issues, and also, you know, found out I was dyslexic at a late stage. So I just found out about this group, and then your colleagues asked me to join. So here I am. Yeah, got to try. You know, I have a few other questions, but I don't know whether it's linked to this one, but maybe later or something. But I do need some advice on, if it's possible.
Yeah, we can help. So I'm Becky. It's normally run by a lady called Catherine Hewlett, who's poorly today, unfortunately. But we've also got Lois on the call as well. So Jennifer, if we could have if you want to DM me your details, and then we can see what we can do to help you. This is a group where we sort of share things in terms of strategies, peer support, all kind of goodness and things like that. And it's also constructively positive as well. So it's about helping each other and learning from each other and sharing knowledge. So you know, welcome, hello. So yeah, and I'm late diagnosis myself. I was 23 a little while ago now, so can completely understand. Absolutely.
Lovely to meet you all, and thank you. If you were to share your experiences, thank you. You know, because it's like a support network, really. Yeah, I've started my new job on the 1st of July. I've got my concerns.
Okay. Yeah.
And
it might be worth us jumping on a separate call in relation to that, so we can really deep dive.
So just to back up what Becky's saying, I'm happy to help, Jennifer. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
DM us your email if you send it as a direct message to Lois.
On the chat.
If you want to DM it, like a direct message it to Lois. Are you okay doing that, or would you like?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Beautiful. If you want to send it to Lois, that would be fantastic.
I'm doing on the chat. I think
chat, where it says to everyone, there's a wee arrow. If you click on that, you'll be able to choose a person to send it to.
Who do I choose?
Lois Hood.
Lois. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just spoke to him, so he's got my email address already. He's the one who introduced me to the group.
Oh, no, this is Lois.
Yeah, no, I'm a she.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Don't worry.
I'm so sorry.
So is this Jennifer Lee?
Yes, yeah, we spoke the other day, and
Yes, I'm going to talk to you tomorrow, aren't I?
Yeah.
No, we're already set up to talk. So
I already
that's
got
good.
my email address, so I'll leave it because it's my computer's frozen. Actually.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, but we're already set up for tomorrow, so that's fine.
Okay, yeah, great. It's lovely to meet you, by the way.
Lovely to meet you. Absolutely. I realise, Sadie, you've got 4 questions, so I see all of those 4 people. We won't forget you. And what we'll do, Jennifer, let's see what we can do to help. Robert, go for it, my friend.
You're on mute.
Unmute myself. I sort of I've got them in my hands. That's it. I find meditation like I've done it before, and I do find it helpful, like to help with anxiety, any stress, any worries, and help me to be in the present moment. So really help me to really focus on to be in the present moment and really sort of declutter my mind. Really, it does really help me to do that. Really.
Decluttering is such an important tool, isn't it? And mindfulness can really kick into all of that. Sorted.
Thank you, Robert.
I have a quote for Kung Fu Panda for everybody for that subject. Yesterday was history, tomorrow's a mystery, today's a gift. That's why it's called the present. So keep that in mind.
Oh, wonderful. Mona, over to you.
Hi, thank you for the talk. It's been like really good. I've realized that so much of those things are like missing from my life or day to day that I need to kind of manage myself and get through the day. I've just got a question about sort of getting a diagnosis for my neurodiversity. I don't really know if there's any other way I can do it, apart from I've been told there's a waiting list for probably 2 years.
Wow.
Through my doctor.
Yeah, I heard that, the same thing. Yep. Yeah.
I think I definitely have it because I recall as a child I had difficulties. I don't know if I'm like high functioning or something, or I've done stuff to kind of help me get through over the years, but a lot of it I can relate to. So I don't know. And I've done a screening. I did a screening with Lois, so that was good. I just kind of don't know what to do in terms of moving forwards with a diagnosis, apart from I've been told that it could be a 2-year wait really, and that's kind of, you know, it's quite a long time, but I don't know what to do. I don't know if anyone has any like thoughts on this.
Just something to think. So,
and it could be multiple things as well, not just like one. So plus I have like trauma, I have trauma on top of it, so I don't actually know where the trauma starts and where the neurodiversity starts or ends, sort of thing.
I know.
So.
Yeah. Okay, I hear you, definitely. So in terms of, are you looking for further, like a further assessment in respect to neurodiversity, or is it more about managing sort of different strategies and mindfulness?
Oh, it's I think first it's the, well, not first, but it's further diagnosis, or that, because I don't really know what I'm dealing with.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I should do, Mona, I should go back to your assessment and see if I can give you any further guidance. I think that's what I should do. Do you think that's right? Can you hear me?
Hi, yeah, is that in relation to getting an assessment, or is that something else?
Well, no, I can't help you with an assessment. You know, that goes through the system. But I could go back to what I said when I did the screening with you and see if there's anything else I can help you with, because it obviously is only help you partially. So I should go back and see if I can help you any further.
I mean, it's definitely helped in the sense of just that the next look at a stepping stone towards getting diagnosis, and maybe me having a better understanding. But it's I mean, I'm not expecting a diagnosis from this community, but I just wondered if anyone else has this is facing this problem, and if maybe there's something I haven't thought of that someone could enlighten me with.
I can understand where you're coming from. Yeah. Don't know what to say, but I can understand, because I went to the GP and asked him for the waiting list. They said it was 2 years. And I was looking around for the autism hub and online to try and find, and emailed them and stuff like that. You know, they said basically, I just feel the frustration. Yeah. I'm just waiting for the GP tomorrow and talk to them again. But I don't know if I'm autistic, but you just never know. Like, because 2 of my friends said they suspect that I might have some traits there, aside from being dyslexic and dyspraxic and all that. But yeah, anyway, never mind. I'm sure other people would like to contribute. You know, I don't want to take up the screen space.
No, don't worry about that. This is all important. I think a lot of this has been impacted because of COVID, particularly in regards to assessment as well. I don't know, Lois, I think actually we're in a good position where we can offer these guys some advice to at least move forward, and then what we can do. What do you think we could do? Sorry, I'm taking over.
No, you know, when I do screenings, you know, for any neurodiverse conditions or learning differences, I try to offer pointers, but yeah, it's challenging, and I'm basically a dyslexia specialist, and I know a bit about other neurodiverse conditions, but, or learning differences, but, I'm not a specialist. And, I quite often feel that, I can give pointers, but,
Yeah.
When it's around dyslexia and dyspraxia, I feel I have lots of ideas and lots of things I can say, but when it's around other learning differences, I feel I'm more limited, really. But I mean, in the end, if you feel you have ADHD or autism, yeah, it's best to get a proper diagnosis, but it does take a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the access to work link. I applied for it today.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No. Well, that's one of the main things I do, is the access to work thing. I just think that's really helpful.
If you want to apply for it, go ahead, please do.
Yeah.
I haven't told my boss yet that I'm my new boss that I'm dyslexic, but I'm sure eventually I'll have to tell him. He'll need to know, because he's going to get an email from access to work eventually. So he'll need to find out. That's a bit of a...
I'm a bit conscious of time. I'm so sorry, because I know it's a really important conversation, and I'm like Lois as well, and in terms of dyspraxia, dyslexia, a little bit of ADHD, but formal diagnosis. So I'm with you, Lois. Dee, you've got your hand up. Thank you so much for waiting.
Hi. Yeah, thank you. I don't want to jump the queue. I don't know if Greg was before me. Was he? Or is it definitely me now?
It was definitely
you. Was it me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Oh dear, my piece of paper's disappeared. Oh, there it is. Sadhu, that was really good. Thank you so much. I think hearing it again, some of the aspects again, because I've heard it when you did the talk the first time. I think for me, I think the structure was kind of more accessible to me this time, and I felt that I could connect what you were saying together in kind of in an easier way. It flowed for me a lot more this time, so I kind of took it in a lot more, and I could see, I can kind of sometimes be aware that my environment, which is quite cluttered, it has to be said, is affecting me, is kind of adversely affecting me. So I do know that it does kind of make me quite depressed. It doesn't assist me with the stress that I feel, but it's very difficult to kind of get on top of it because I'm always too tired, and also I find it boring and I'm not motivated enough and things like that. But I think hearing your talk and hearing a bit more about mindfulness and meditation and everything, and the being reminded of the things that it can actually do for us, I think it's definitely something that I want to get on board with now. You've given me that impetus to want to start kind of really get an app, or well, it probably won't be an app because I haven't got space on my phone, but connecting with something online that will help me to do this on a more regular basis. So thank you very much for that. And I just wanted to say as well that I can't remember what you called it, the quieting of the mind, the last thing that you said you forgot to add into. I think I find that my mind is always working, like most dyslexics, 101 things are going on in it. But I think, going for walks in the park is really good for kind of helping me to connect things together and to just really think about things in a bit more detail and come up with some answers to certain things that I kind of, need to get on top of, etc. And just another thing as well that I found really useful was it was good to kind of be reminded that, you know, we're all different and not to compare ourselves, because I'm, you know, constantly comparing myself. And this week I quite brought myself down quite a bit, comparing myself to a lot of people who I think are, you know, achieving great things, and I'm feeling like I've got nowhere and I could do better. I could, you know, do something more with my life and all those kind of things. So that was a really good reminder as well. So I think that's kind of all I really wanted to say, but thank you so much. That was really useful.
You're welcome, Dee, and thank you so much for that really comprehensive feedback. I mean, the first time I delivered this session over a year ago now, I was a nervous wreck. So, and I've refined it a lot, and I brought in some new material as well. But thank you. It's nice to have someone that was there the first time around. Also, and just on that note, because you mentioned going for walks, I have this quote which I just quickly want to read out. It says, "We should take wandering outdoor walks so that the mind might be nourished and refreshed by the open air and deep breathing." And it says here how you can apply it. Schedule walks to refresh your mind. Get out in the sun as early as you can each day. So walk more frequently. So I just thought I'd quickly share that since you mentioned walking.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Dee, and Greg.
Oh, hi, Sadia, and hi everyone. I found this session very, very interesting, and actually would like to thank you very much for quite positive feeling after that session. I cannot describe even more, but also I'm quite impressed that you, as a person with dyslexia, and as you mentioned, you are introvert. You were able to present this, to present during this meeting. So yeah, I am extremely introvert, so I find it always difficult to talk in front of other people. But what I'd like to say is, like, I'm more like Mona and Jennifer on the beginning of the journey. So I've been just diagnosed with dyslexia a few months ago, but so the last 2 years actually been very stressful, a lot of anxiety, and self-esteem went down to, hit the rock bottom. Anyway, I would like to just connect with people who, like Sadia, maybe they have a positive, they've been diagnosed later in life, and then now they find some kind of positivity in their lives, because that's where I'm struggling now. I found difficult to wake up every morning. Oh God, I just have to, do the work, and I work from home. So, I don't have a commute. So basically I just log into the laptop in the morning and, half asleep and just try to deal with with the tasks that they throw at me. But I'm just trying to find how can I deal with this, because I don't have any issue with, when I don't work on a weekend, I can relax and have a stress-free day. However, the working aspect, the professional aspect, this is where I struggle. And unfortunately, on the way of my diagnosis, I've been seeing some other therapists. My neurodiversion is very complex. Apart from that's dyslexia, I have autistic spectrum, there's OCD, there's huge anxiety. There's, I think, seven at least, and counting, types of this neurodiversity in me, and I feel quite overwhelmed with all these labels that are now sticking on me, and although that explains a lot about my past and all the misunderstanding in the past, now I can understand better. However, I'm just looking to connect, with people here to, either to have a Zoom call, individual call, or if you have a meetings face-to-face, in anywhere. I would love to just connect with people, to find out the light in the tunnel, at the end of the tunnel of this dark times.
Well, first of all, you've joined this group, you've come to this session, and when I joined WFDA and I started coming to these talks, it helped my mental well-being a lot. So I would suggest, coming back for these next step sessions. And that's just not me. I'm not just doing a promo for WFDA. I genuinely mean it, just to be able to be amongst people that share similar experiences with you. So this is to do with the whole peer support. And also, I don't want to give the impression that, I'm on this kind of positive road. I'm doing all this mindfulness and applying all these techniques. I actually do face a lot of challenges. And even right now, I'm facing a big challenge in my workplace where my neurodivergent characteristics are presenting to be a bit of a challenge, namely because the appropriate adjustments haven't been put in place, and there's been severe delays around that due to a lack of understanding and a lack of taking me seriously. So I could describe my experience as like a zigzag, like I'm constantly up and down, where I have these downs when I go to work or when I interact with people, and then I bring myself back again. I remind myself. So it's this constant journey of just bringing myself back to that awareness of I'm neurodivergent, I have these strengths. It's the environment around me that is disabling because they don't understand me. It's not me, just changing that inner dialogue within myself. So it's this constant battle that goes on. It can be quite tiring sometimes, but it's just my survival technique, just taking time out, reminding myself, affirmations. So it's an ongoing journey, I'd say, but just if you could just try to apply those techniques. Also, what I said about pursuing interests and hobbies, because I gave the example of joining the philosophy online sessions with this philosophy school, and I just I don't mean to boast or anything, but I really shine in those sessions the way that I don't get to shine in my workplace or in other places. I don't know what it is. It's just very neurodivergent friendly. And we tend to be well, some of us, we do have better emotional intelligence than I wouldn't say better, but we have strong emotional intelligence, and I find that comes out a lot when I'm in those sessions. So maybe find an interest as well. That's something you can do outside just to help your mental well-being, and definitely come to these sessions with WFDA or other dyslexia groups. I'd also recommend Exceptional Individuals. They do excellent webinars. It's just that whole awareness and realization that there's other people that are like you. It just helps.
It's so true, Sadia, and I think everybody's had a similar experience where they've needed to sort of start to find where they're going on their journey and everything, and that there's some really good stuff in relation to, there's some really positive stuff in this, and that we're all finding each other, particularly through peer support, like Sadia says. I'm getting very conscious of time. Robert, is it going to be a quick one?
Yeah, it's going to be quick. Yeah, all I'm going to say is that you just have to work towards your strengths, not your weaknesses. Not concentrate on your strengths, not your weaknesses. Really, that's the thing to be positive about your strengths, not your weaknesses. Really.
No, it's very true indeed. Sadia, that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was brilliant, particularly in regards to so much that you covered, particularly in the time that you had. But also, I've been scribbling away, literally, in regards to different apps and different stuff to all add to our tool bags, particularly in regards to those resources, in regards to things like mindfulness, the Calm app, also about decluttering. I do like a nice storage basket, and also about things such as self-care, and the idea that someone's got a podcast or a YouTube channel called But First Coffee. really chimes my bells, I must admit, as somebody who likes the stuff very much like that. So can we say to Sadia, fabulous, like that, and just do the sort of either the deaf round of applause or clapping?
Thank you so much, Sadia. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It was brilliant.
I know that there's some new people to the group, so I've made a note, so I'll make sure that Catherine and you and Lois, so obviously Lois is here, but if you'd make sure that Catherine's aware as well.
Becky, I just need to answer someone's question. Mona's asking, how do I connect with exceptional individuals? They have a Facebook page, and I think they have a website as well. So if you just Google them, they'll pop up. And there's an amazing person called Nat Hawley, who's always, you know.
Before everything goes, Dee, are you still there, Dee?
I am. Thank you for remembering, because I had forgotten myself, even though I asked. Yeah, I asked Becky if I could just kind of do a shout out for something that I'm doing. Some of you might have seen it in the WhatsApp, the Next Step WhatsApp group, that I'm trying to put together something called the Dyslexia Wellness Fun Day. It's an idea I've had for a few years now, and I'm trying to recruit a planning team. So, you know, people who might be able to help with communications, marketing, IT, kind of dyslexia awareness and the such. And I'm, if you want, basically, let's cut it short and I say, if you're interested, then email me at dyslexia, I'll put it in the chat as well, but email me at dyslexia.funday, all one word, funday, that is, at outlook.com, and we can take it from there. So yeah, that's my shout out. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
Pleasure, Dee. I've just had Andrew ask, how can people join the WhatsApp group? He would like to join if that's possible.
Catherine manages that group, so
yeah,
just pop Catherine an email. Has everyone got Catherine's email? Let me just, I put it in the chat.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Oh, .org.uk, sorry, that's meant to be at the end.
Sorted.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Right, I realise it's 20 to 9. Thank you so much for everybody to join in. Thank you so much, Sadia.
Thank you, Becky.
It's my pleasure. I've really enjoyed tonight. Take care, everyone.
Thanks ever so much, Sadia. Thank you to Jennifer and Robert, my buddies.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cracking job.
Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, thanks ever so much. Take care. It's been brilliant.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. It's been brilliant. Enjoyed myself. Thank you. Bye.
Take care.